teče tudi.
Okay. I started working on local development already 30 years ago in Slovenia. In our national park, the national park wanted to help the local communities by promoting their local development and providing them with some support to build a hydropower plant which was supposed to provide income for the local people, and I got involved in setting up the cooperative which took the ownership and developed the hydropower plant, and we were very successful by mobilizing the young people, the young generation living in the valley at that time, and they took over their own development by this cooperative, and they are still working 30 years from now. They are one of the very successful organizations in the area. One of the main lessons that I took from this experience is that people whom you're trying to help or work with, they have their own capacity, they have their own ideas, their own objectives, and you need to respect this and not try to take control over them through the project or through this cooperation. We provided assistance to this community by helping them identify the organization they would set up, preparing the legal documents, facilitating the process of establishment, but then they took over the control and the management, and they were very successful. Building on this experience, over decades I have been working with community development or participatory development initiatives in different parts of Central and Eastern Europe, Southeast Europe, in the Balkans, and from time to time it turned out that basically the most important thing is to support the initiative of the local people themselves, to find the leaders who take over, who can manage their own development. And I have also seen quite a lot of projects where beneficiaries became dependent on donors. They lost their own initiatives and they basically failed in the long term. In 2015 I was asked to be the team leader of a project in the Caucasus, in Armenia, Azerbaijan and Georgia, focusing on community nature conservation, trying to help or make sure that the local users of the land would manage the land sustainably, and at the same time they would develop a better economy, or they would improve their economic situation. And there I encountered the methodology of financial participatory approach, which takes this participatory planning and participatory development to the next level. It's not just facilitating the process with the local people, but through contests and awards it actually provides financial input for the initiatives of the local people, not provided by experts, but basically awarding those initiatives which are the most successful by themselves. With my experience of participatory development, I saw immediately that this is a very useful methodology, and we started implementing it. But it was interesting that a lot of officials in the government, also a lot of international experts, were very skeptical. And they were saying you cannot trust the local people, they will just try to take the money, they will not work as expected. But to their surprise and to our satisfaction, we have conducted financial participatory approach processes in 3 countries. We have implemented it through the main phases, and it really led to the empowerment of the local people. It led to improving their self-organization. It basically helped them gain self-respect, and through that also gain respect of the government officials, of the authorities, of regional authorities, and so on. We have managed to really prove that this approach works by taking local communities step by step through these contests and awards, starting with small awards, just building the trust, starting the communication going, focusing on their sustainable management of their areas, also focusing on how to build the trust between them, focusing on the lack of trust, which was one of the main obstacles. And then gradually we could bring this process through the main contests to actually financially supporting the projects that the communities wanted to implement by themselves, like village improvement, water supply, buying tractors to improve the work on the land. And finally, the biggest impact of the process was that the communities organized themselves, that they set up their own village associations, their own decision making, which was absent for decades, and they then became also a partner to our project. They became a partner to their national and regional authorities, and they became partner also to other donors. So they could also mobilize additional funding or additional projects through this process. For example, in Azerbaijan, in one of the most remote villages in the Caucasus Mountains, which you needed 2 hours to drive to before, once the financial participatory approach was successful and the local village took over their own development, then the governor actually built or was able to receive funding from the government to build a new road to them. So now the travel time to this village is only half an hour, and this opens up a whole new set of possibilities for this process. In my experience, financial participatory approach is really one of the best methodologies to empower the local people, to give them the responsibility for their own development, to make sure that they don't become dependent or addicted to external financing, but that they mobilize their own resources for their own needs, for their own priorities, for their own objectives, and in that way basically they take care of their own future development. And for the authorities, for the donors, this is also a big success because it reduces the dependency of these people on the authorities or on the external help. Thank you.